Good morning. Today we'll discuss about the steps to write R&D projects and proposals preparation. From the Department of Computational Science, Benue University, we have to discuss how to write a success project proposal. Before we start, we have to specify the answer. What is the proposal? In the proposal, we have to define the inputs and outputs. We have to specify the objectives and we have to specify the cost and quality of the proposal. Before outline your projects and funding requirements, you have to answer five important questions. What is the unique about these projects? Who will benefit? Where and when will the projects take place? How much will the project cost? Why is there a need to fund these projects? You have to identify the sponsor agencies which will sponsor for your projects. There are so many sponsoring agencies like DST, DBT, ICAR, CSIR, and so on and so forth. Most of the sponsors agencies encourage the multidisciplinary and multi-international level projects. What are the elementary requirements to write any project proposal? You have to identify the funding agencies, what are the strength and weakness of the organization, and you should follow up the annual reports, newspapers, and website formats to identify the project proposal for any funding agencies. To analyze any call for proposal, you have to specify that what are the goal of the funding agency, what is their strategic plan, why was the fund set up, what they want to fund, how is the funding calculated, what other obligations are involved, what are the requirements of the request for proposal. Before you start to write any proposal, you have to specify the format of, of the project proposal. We have taken an example to write a proposal for DST projects. There are so many differences in format and perspective for any other agency's project format. Before you start to write any project proposal, you have to specify the title, introductions. In the introduction section, you have to specify the need, problem statement, aims and objectives, rationale. You have to specify the research method, work, program, and the most important part that is the budget. In the title section, you have to specify that the title has to be catchy, small, and informative. In the introduction part, you have to specify the background portion of your projects, and you have to identify the critical gaps in knowledge and need for the present work. You have to answer the two important questions for in the introduction part. That is, what is the context of the proposal? And why is the work needed? You have to start to write in problem statement. In the problem statements, which deals with a context having a set of problems, and you have to specify the aims and objectives of in the introductory part, and it should be measurable, and specifiable in some way so as to know the completions of the projects. It will facilitate the intentions clearly and it sets useful criteria for evaluation purpose. So, while writing the objective, you try to answer the following queries. What do you want to achieve? The objective are a value to whom are the measurable and realistic in terms of time and available resources. So the next important part, you have to specify the hypothesis corresponding to each of the objectives and involvement of stakeholders. So the general rule of formal research should have to involve a hypothesis, some preliminary information, and a strong hunch suggestion the type of outcomes you would like to find. Now, what is the research method? This section are purely technical section for your projects. Here, the 8 important questions you have to realize to the to your objective in in your project. That is your object of approaches to write or direction of to do these projects. You have to specify the stakeholders. You have to specify the activities and resources. You have to mention the time and what are your milestone. You have to inform the training phases and what are the requirement to train and how to train. You have to manage the full uh, full projects and you have to specify the management to specify the your research work. In the work program section, you have to manage the project management techniques like flowcharts, Gantt chart, and part network to specify the time frame of activity wise, and you have to specify the milestone for each objective. The most important section is the budget section, where you have to specify the year-wise and activity-wise budget in detail. You have to justify each cost equipment and other facilities. You have to try to find out the reasonable inflation while the calculating year-wise budget. You have to summarize the budget and you have to specify the year-wise splits have to you have to keep in mind while preparing the budget. Here, the budget estimation summary that if you see here the 3 years budgets, the first year, second year, and third year formula, you have to specify the manpower, where you have to require the salary or honorarium. You have to, there are different type of consumable and contingencies requirement. You have to specify the travel cost. You have to specify the books and journal requirement. You have to specify the course and workshop requirement. You also specify the equipment cost. So this the total cost you have to require to to solve or to solve any projects. So that's why you have to also mention the overall overhead charges of the projects. And you have lastly you have to mention the target total budgets of your projects. Thank you. Thank you for your thank you for your listening.